Hello and welcome to the statistics opener number 3. In this problem we're going to be finding the 5-number summary for a set of data, and then we are going to draw a box and whisker plot for the data. This is the same data we used in statistics opener numbers 1 and 2. So anyway, here's what the 5-number summary includes. We have to have the minimum, we have the maximum, and right in the middle of the lowest data point and the highest data point is the median. If you need a refresher on median, you should go back and watch stats opener number 1. Now, in between the minimum and the median, halfway in between the lowest and the middlest, we have what we call the first quartile, and we usually just write that as Q1. And then in between the median and the maximum, we have what we call the third quartile. You may be wondering what happened to the second quartile. The second quartile is there. That's actually the median. All right, so these are the 5 things that comprise the 5-number summary. And in order to find these 5 things, it's much easier to have these numbers listed out in order. So I actually went back up to the problem where I did the median, that was in opener number 1, and I copied my list of the numbers there where I had found the median. So there it is, and we had found the median was right in between those two 80s. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to draw like a red line in between those two 80s, because that's where the median was. It was in between those two numbers. Okay, well, in order to find the minimum, that should be pretty obvious. That's just the lowest number, and the maximum is also pretty obvious. That's 87. If you recall, the median was 80 because the mean of this 80 and this 80 is 80 again. All right, and then the way we find the first quartile is we basically just look at this part of the data that is below the median. We don't, if the median were a number, we don't actually count the median. We only count the numbers that are below the median. And we do exactly what we did to find the median again. So only looking, here I'll maybe highlight the numbers in yellow. These are all the numbers that are below the median. And what we do to find the first quartile then is you essentially find the median of that set of numbers. And you know, one way to find the median is just sort of cross out numbers from each side until you find the middle number. So there it is, it's 75. So the first quartile is 75. And to find the third quartile, we do the same thing with these numbers, which are the numbers that are greater than the median. So we work our way into the middle, and 82 is the third quartile. So that's the 5-number summary. As long as there aren't, several hundred pieces of data, it's not so bad to find that. And then here is how we make a box and whisker plot. We make ourselves a little number line, and that number line has to go at least from your minimum to your maximum. So I'll put 40 somewhere down at this end. And then, you kind of can go up by whatever you want. Maybe I'll go up by 5, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. And I think that's good enough because I did cover, the maximum is going to be 87, so I need that to fit on my number line. So there we go. Now what you do is essentially there will be a mark for each of the 5 numbers on here. So the minimum is at 40, and for now I'm just going to put a vertical line to all of these things. The first quartile is at 75. The median is at 80. The third quartile is at 82, and then the maximum is at 87, so maybe about there. Okay, and that was the minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and the maximum. All right, and then here's how the box and the whiskers happen. We draw a box in between Q1 and Q3. That's the box part. And so that shows you where half of the data is. Right? Half of the data points are in between Q1 and Q3. And if we kind of go back up to the drawing, here was Q1, and here is Q3. So half of the data is in here. Then we draw a whisker, so that's just a line out to the minimum, and we draw a whisker out to the maximum. So that shows you between here and here is, less than a quarter of the data. Between here and here is about half the data, and between here and here is about another quarter of the data. So this is just a nice way to see the data. Sometimes you can see some things visually in here that you maybe would not have seen if you just list out the numbers. So there's a lot of data here in between the minimum and the first quartile. So it's just sort of showing you there's a lot of space here. And then in here there is much less space between the Q1 and the Q3. So anyway, that's a box and whisker plot. That's how you make it. And that's the 5-number summary.